Turkish forces and their Syrian rebel allies attacked Kurdish positions in northeastern Syria, pounding them with airstrikes and artillery barrages in a cross-border military operation just days after US troops pulled back from the area. World leaders have described the offensive as dangerous and reckless and warn it will threaten regional stability. The Turkish vice president sees it differently.
This operation will be a source of peace and will bring peace and will sort out the Syrian crisis in a radical way. This operation, led by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, is one of the steps and one of the procedures, among other steps, taken by President Erdogan for the sake of Syria and for keeping the unity of Syria.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says the aim of the offensive is to eliminate what he calls a terror corridor along Turkey's southern border. He also wants to establish a safe zone inside territory currently held by the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, where 2 million refugees currently hosted in Turkey can be settled. The SDF says the offensive has caused widespread panic and evacuations and will trigger a new humanitarian crisis.
We saw 2 tanks in front of our village, so we left, fearing that our children might get hurt following the shelling of the village. Most residents have left, but some young men have stayed.
The Kurds have been key players in the fight against ISIL in Syria. The SDF have appealed to the United States and its allies to establish a no-fly zone to protect it from Turkish attacks.
Turkey is trying through these attacks to open new lands for the mercenaries of Daesh. It is trying to lengthen the life of these groups. We do not agree with any attacks by Turkey and those supporting them. The world knows the reason behind the attack on the northeast of Syria.
The Turkish government describes the main fighting force in the SDF as a terrorist organisation linked to the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, which has fought against the Turkish government for decades. Erdogan sees this military operation as a chance to weaken an old enemy, but the international community is worried about the prospect of more suffering for the people of northern Syria, as well as the security implications of this move. Turkey has so far offered no clear plan about how to deal with thousands of jailed ISIL fighters on the Syrian side of the border. The Turkish Defence Ministry says a ground incursion into Syria has begun, and there are rising fears for the hundreds of thousands of civilians living close to the border, many of whom fled to SDF-controlled territory for safety in a country that has already suffered years of war. Stratford, Al Jazeera on the Turkish-Syrian border.